Hello to the chicos and the chicas. This is just a little bit of a introduction to the video that is to come now. I did have a lesson with a lovely gentleman called Lukas, who happens to be a very close and very deeply respected friend of mine. But actually, because of he is such a great friend of mine, at times I feel like the language and the atmosphere of the lesson might feel a little bit weird or off, so I just wanted to, clarify this before the video, especially because hopefully nowadays we get a fair few new viewers that this is not exactly, necessarily the vibe, but when you are long-time friends and also occasionally you have lessons with someone, the lines tend to blur and, that's just, it is what it is. But chess-wise, I think that what you are about to see is going to be really, really good stuff. So without further ado, let's dive in.
Well, I mean, if white's gone to b3, I'm assuming white is a good player.
Why are you assuming that? They just gave up the bishop pair. I would assume that they mouse slipped.
Yes, but there must be some reason why he's done that, right? Like, taking it must be bad, but I'm not sure why.
Let's use... Whoa, you second guessing what you know best. I don't recommend that mentality.
All right, well, let's say we do take it.
I would 100% take it. Which I think, by the way, is not the best move by the engine, but it's certainly not a bad one. Look, it unites the pawns, so there is that, right? That being said, again, after you take it solo again.
Yes.
But it's not so easy for black now to find a meaningful plan. Then again, nor is it that obvious to find an easy plan for white, because there are no targets around. What else would you consider, just for fancy's sake?
I think b6, maybe.
Okay.
With the idea of, maybe bishop a6.
Yeah, however, a general concern about b6 would be what?
Oh, bishop d5.
No, I don't think I should worry about that, because you can just sidestep it if push comes to shove. No, the issue, friend, is that I can take c5, and then there is, like, everybody's hanging. Like, when I take c5, it's no worries, usually, although in some lines it does happen, because the two pawns are kind of clumsy, and even if I can't win them, it's hard to claim that they are an advantage. But if you have a pawn on b6, then I'm just going to be a clean pawn up when I take, because then there will be a further trade.
Yes, yeah. Okay.
Now, what you tried to do, however, was a good idea. It was just a bad execution.
So maybe bishop d7 to
exactly.
b5.
Bishop d7 to bishop b5 is the way to go.
Okay.
And that was that. Now, in this game that we discussed, our friend, he played c4.
Yes, that did occur to me, but I didn't think that was a good move.
And why is that?
Well, you want to really put the knight on c4, don't you?
Well, that's not happening anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the bishop d7, bishop b5 plan very clearly has been messed with by playing c4. So what then?
Well, white goes to c2, I presume.
No, as in... Okay, so sorry, I'm miscommunicating here. So is it bad?
I would say it's bad, yeah.
Yeah, I fully agree with this evaluation. c4 here releases all the tension without any benefits whatsoever, and makes it very difficult for black to find a meaningful way to continue the game, and white has completely free hand now on the king side with whatever attack they want to come up with. So this is a very serious risk. A very important analogy here, which I mentioned to the student too, is, excuse me, in the Queen's Indian, no less, there is a variation where this becomes a motif. Let me show you what I'm talking about. I play this with white. It feels so weird to be behind the black pieces here. So, here there is an idea for black, right? Wherein they play c4 and then they play e5. Now these two together accomplish that both of the bishops are shut down completely.
Yes, yeah.
But even here it's iffy if then white can take and then play f4 and e5. But I don't know how worried I would be because this bishop is complete garbo, right? Yeah, actually, according to the machine, as you can see, it's not good at all. So this idea of c4 always has to be followed up by with some sort of e5 idea before they play e5, completely splitting the board in two. And now knight e2, knight e4, the bishop on c1 is going to be an absolute boss. And white is going to have a vicious kingside attack. Right? But if you play e5 on time, then both of these bishops are going to be real bad. Really, really bad. Because it's just this pawn is in the way of this bishop and this pawn is in the way of this bishop.
But in the Grünfeld, that's less advisable, right? Because you're also kind of stuck.
Well, if we go back to our analogy, so I did try to play e5 here, of course, for black too, but after take f4 e5, it's not looking great at all. Not to mention the fact that I might not even have to do it. I might be able to play maybe just f4 and just completely go nuts. Although I think I would be reluctant to do that. Yeah, that being said, e5 I think even here is worthy of attention. We didn't do that. We played b5, which I think this part of the game is a little bit meh. Queen d2, perfect move, rook e8. I guess it was played to dodge the bishop h6 bullet, but it doesn't quite accomplish that. I would still play bishop h6, I think bishop back, and then bring the queen in. Play e5, and maybe put the knight in. White has got various ways to be a rock star here. They played f4, which as you can see from the bar is suboptimal. E6, f5. Absolute gung-ho city.
Wow.
Absolute gung-ho city. We took it.
Yeah,
they took back. And we played here queen e7. Now this was a very serious mistake. However, there is a very fun situation that occurred here. The first thing that I want you to tell me, it was one of the things that I calculated correctly, because the guy I had the lesson with, he checked this with the engine afterboard. And so I had to figure out an engine line. It was a reverse lesson in some ways. So bishop h6. I want you to calculate lines here for me with black. As in, you are black. What lines would you consider here for black?
Well, the first I would consider is bishop h6, queen h6, and queen e2. After queen e2, though, there's f6.
Yeah, very good. Okay, so let's deal with f6 first. Why is f6 losing on the spot?
After all that, or
yeah. You're threatened with mate in 1, right? So it's not exactly like you need to pick from 50 moves.
Yeah, but I'm obviously not visualizing this right.
What is the first thing you look at?
Checks, but I don't have any checks.
Oh, really? Can we go through that again?
Yeah, so bishop h6, queen h6, queen e2. F6.
Yeah. You have got 3 legal checks.
Oh gosh, yeah, because queen e3, rook e3. Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
Okay. What was the problem there that prevented you from seeing this?
I forgot there was a rook on e8.
Okay.
Yeah, just yeah.
Heads up. Here is a rook. Okay, very good. So So far, it looks like we're completely killing it. So we need to improve on this 4 white. Can we?
Well, I'd say
I will remove the arrows.
no, there's no merit to rook AE1 there, is there?
I don't know. Looks to me like it hits the queen and threatens mate in 1, so...
Yeah, maybe that's it.
I would call it a lot of merit, in fact.
Yeah. Okay, rook AE1. All right, so maybe not that.
Wait. Is that the end or the beginning of the line?
Oh, rook AE1. Well,
I mean, you only have to look at one move, right? Which makes it a super easy piece of calculation.
Queen E1.
Yeah, what else?
Yeah. But Queen E1, Rook E1, Rook E1, King F2.
Mm-hmm. Very good.
I mean, I don't think that's very good for black.
Yeah. That is a textbook case of a calculation where I don't necessarily think that it's visualization that is preventing people from seeing it. It's simply a very beautiful and difficult idea way too far down the line, you know, for most players to consider. So let me help you out here a little bit. After King F2,
Yeah.
what is White's number 1 threat?
F6 and Queen G7.
Correct. So it's not King takes E1, yeah? It's F6.
Yeah.
So what moves do we have to
the Rook E6. Sorry. Forget
that hangs the rook a little bit.
Yeah, please don't. Yeah. I mean, there's Bishop F5.
All right, so let's put that Bishop F5 through the test.
Yeah, but Bishop F5. Bishop F5. Yes, because if Bishop F5, King E1, then Bishop C2.
Right, and what if Bishop F5, Bishop F5? Okay, let's play the same game again. What's White's threat?
Maybe Rook. I don't know, Rook E7 or something. As in, you save the Rook.
Yeah, but why are we playing the most passive move on the board to do that? I don't like the notion of saving it. I want to protect it. Because saving sounds like we are in some mortal danger.
Ah, yes, sorry. Rook A to E8.
Hello.
Is better, yes.
Okay, evaluation.
I would prefer black in that situation.
Yeah, absolutely. So the line goes, which wins for black by force, is take, and bishop. This is the hard move, because if you don't consider it, then you're dead lost. And for this reason, most people stop here, assuming that f6 and hanging rook are two threats that are just one too many. But actually, bishop f5 wins for black. Marvelous example of a very deep calculation, and you did it really, really well there. Okay, so that's that. Bishop a6 loses. From memory, the best move here is bishop g5. Wait, no. Actually, I don't remember now what the best move is. Because bishop g5 hangs e2.
What about rook a to e1? Oh no, it's that hangs the bishop.
Wait a second. After bishop a6, queen e2, don't we have rook e1 right away? Oh, but then bishop...
No, because we took first.
Oh yeah, of course. So what is it? Because rook f3 is the move that we are going to discuss, and I know it's not that.
Rook f3, bishop b7.
Yeah, we will get to that, but I'm trying to investigate why we are dead here. So we are missing something very, very obvious, and that really is...
Is it...
annoying me.
I was thinking f6, bishop f6.
f6 loses to queen e3.
Oh.
Wait, I have an idea. Is it going to be just simply bishop g5, queen takes e2, and then rook e1? And if queen takes d2, I take the rook, bishop f8, and then I just take the queen, and I'm up in exchange, and you're dead. Yeah, that's it. I'm pretty sure. Yep. That's it.
Wow.
Yeah, queen e2, rook e1. Beautiful. Beautiful. Okay, so I managed to score yet another... the coach still has it moment.
Yes.
By solving this. Okay, good. So, hear me out here. Rook f3 played. You already correctly immediately yelled at me bishop b7, no brainer, right?
Yeah.
Now, after rook h3, and unfortunately you are here aided by the engine, and this is, at least by the bar, is a bit helpful. But my student's impression of this position was that he was borderline lost here. Now, I want you to be as honest with yourself as possible and pretend that you don't know where the bar sits.
Right, yeah.
Which, of course, is difficult, but whatever. By the way, can I hide that thing? Oh.
Yeah, you can, yeah.
Okay, I'm an idiot. World class. So, how do you feel about this position for black?
I mean, look, my knight is absolutely terrible.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, indeed. Red hot garbage, as we like to call it in the biz, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's not like his knight is fantastic, but it's better than mine. I wouldn't say I'm losing. I think if I was playing this game, I mean, well, look, what I will demonstrate what an amateur I am now. But I mean, what sticks out to me is that my bishop on b7 is fantastic. The g2 pawn is not particularly well defended.
Yeah.
I don't think that he has... Well, I'll put it the other way. I think my bishop on g7 is a pretty decent defender. I mean, yes, he's got bishop h6.
Well, actually, he doesn't.
But actually,
because he's hanging.
Oh, that's true, right? But like, even if he did, I can just pull back. You know.
Okay, so let's cut to the chase. You are happy.
Yeah.
What do you play?
Well,
because I don't disagree with any of the above, but that's not even half the journey here. Because what I like about this position is that it's a natural position, right? Like almost every single piece is in a spot where you go like, yeah, I've seen this, I've seen that. It's normal. Everything feels normal. Even the weird knight, right? Like you just go like, yeah, it's the price you had to pay for this beautiful bishop or whatever. But despite the very natural appearance of the position, I feel like it is typically one where you would struggle a lot, and I don't mean to highlight your shortcomings, in terms of coming up with a good plan and a move, because there isn't one that you can just blindly go like, well, this is natural. The only one is Rook 88,
Rook 88. Yeah,
right? Like that's the only move that stands out, and it's red hot garbage, because it does absolutely nothing. And I didn't mean to suggest that you just suggested a really bad move, because in fact that was my idea to suggest that this is the only natural move. But it's very clear to see that it's not contributing in any meaningful way whatsoever. In fact, if anything, it lines up your queen and rook to a potential tactic. So that's definitely not it. But then what?
I suppose... I mean, I don't know if... Well, I suppose, look, the knight is bad, right? So knight c6. But I think that's kind of... It's like, where do you go from there kind of thing? Well, there's a sort of knight b6 to b8 to d7 to f6 sort of thing.
You said knight b6, but I think you meant c.
It's knight c6 to b8 to d7 to f6.
Yes, but first of all, if you went to f6 again, you would walk into a very unpleasant pin.
Yeah.
And the ultimate destination you want to be on is d5 anyway, right? Because that's where the blockading square is. But mind you, you were en route to go there, but that was not the final destination, is what I wanted to point out.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Right.
I guess that would be the thing, but I fear that takes too long.
Exactly. Like the issue with knight c6, and you see it as soon as it pops up, is that it stands just as badly on c6 as it did on a5, if not worse, because it even blocks the bishop.
Yes, but I mean the idea is that...
Yeah, of course. But once you consider this as an idea, you know that is not chess, right? Like no way that could ever be right. That's just impossible. It has never been right. It never will be. Like, white's position is nothing to write home about, but if you give me as much time as you going around like this, I will fix these two, and then the attack is going to kick in earnest.
Yeah.
Alright, now, instead of me trying to take all the glory, I would really appreciate if you did this time. But the reason why it was such a memorable moment, because I came up with the idea, and I thought that it was absolutely pure genius. But at the same time, I had this doubt that it was almost too nice to be true. And so I checked with the engine, and it came back with that move as the #1 candidate. Like, dude, that's the best coach feeling ever.
Wow.
Best coach feeling ever. So, I am going to lead you to the correct path. You have identified the problem piece, and you must insist on solving this problem.
Okay, so it's the knight.
Obviously, the knight is a very unhappy cappy, right? So, if we were to improve on this position, we absolutely have to think in terms of what can I do to do something about the horsey. And by the way, I think in the game he played, one of these two bishop moves to bring the knight back here.
Yeah, I was thinking of bishop c6, but doesn't that walk into d5?
No, because then rook d8 is completely killing.
Ah, well, okay.
No, I don't think that d5 is on the cards ever, because that just makes the whole structure very loose and open and airy and unsafe. And yeah, it's going to fall apart then for white.
Well, in that case, bishop c6 probably would have been my move.
Right, so if you play... I don't know if he played bishop c6 or not. But what you need to observe here too is that even if you do this... it might not actually accomplish too much. Because just assume some random vague moves for white. By the time you get to d6, if I just play knight g3, it cancels out everything that your knight can do.
Yeah.
It just gives you the impression of just too slow.
Oh, okay. Look, I've got an idea.
I could tell from the intonation of how it sounded, it had a joyful ring to it. Ever so subtle, but it was there. So I know you're going to say the right move now.
Oh, I don't think so.
I do.
No, it's a bit crazy.
That's exactly why I know that you're on the right track.
Is it b4?
What if I take?
Well, then knight c6.
What if I just defend it then? Maybe I even had b5 actually in hindsight. But then knight b4 maybe, I think. So I don't know, a3. I'm not convinced yet.
Okay.
You need to do better. You need to do better.
b4 takes.
Contrary to what you thought, your idea was wrong because it was not crazy enough.
Okay.
No, I'm dead set.
Okay.
But I don't want you to misunderstand this comment. So I'm going to tell you, but might ruin this the satisfaction of solving that b4 was correct.
Oh, b4 is the idea.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that's not the idea. That is the move.
Move, yeah.
The idea comes after.
All right, so... okay, so it's not knight c6 then.
Come
So
on, man. When was the last time when I asked for a very epic chess idea and it was going backwards? Never.
Yeah, okay, so...
Never.
I mean, there must be something to... Yeah, right. So b4, cb4, c3... and if queen takes, then rook a8. If knight takes, still rook a8. Actually, why
No,
not?
definitely not.
No.
What did you have a hanging knight? Like, hello.
Ah, sorry, I forgot. That's terrible. Yeah, sorry. If knight takes, well, then I have queen b4. No.
Dude,
Yeah.
what is the point of giving up these two pawns? Remember how we started this whole conversation about the knight?
To free the knight. Oh, yeah, of course. Then there's knight c4. I'm stupid. Yeah.
Right. So now we came around fully.
Sorry, that took me way too long. Yeah.
So I was very, very pleased when I said to a student that, look, I know it sounds crazy, but your knight is garbage here, and b4 c3 just looks like $1 million. And then the more I looked at it, the more I loved it, because the first thing I realized was that c3, cb c3, knight c3 loses to knight c4 instant. That's a fork CR. And queen c3, rook a c8 again, like that's a wet dream of a Grünfeld player.
Yeah.
Like now, contrary to what you have now, every single piece you have is now like, oh baby, this is what Grünfeld wet dreams are made out of. And knight c4 is gonna win the house, thanks, because there are too many pieces hanging.
Yeah.
And that was just such a delightful moment to discover this line, and now you did the same. That is what good chess in the Grünfeld looks like. And b4 is a genuine threat of b3, which, by the way, again, revitalizes the knight beautifully.
Yes.
So, yeah. b4, baby. b4.
Wow.
b4. What a move, eh?
Yeah. That's great.
That is fantastic.